Welcome back to the kitchen. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video about making, sort of a hack on Starbucks egg bites at home. And I do that occasionally, especially when I've got some time on my hands. But a lot of times when I'm doing breakfast, especially if I'm going out early to take pictures or whatever, I need something that's really fast and really simple. And, if I'm just sitting around the house during the day, I might cook a steak for breakfast. But if I need to get out in a hurry, a lot of times I will do what I'm calling an egg souffle in the microwave. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you the simple, plain, everyday kind of way to make this, and then a couple of variations on a theme. So it's going to take a couple of eggs, and I'm just going to crack those into a bowl here. And I'm just going to whisk this up really quickly. Now, I typically just use a fork. You can use a whisk, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, we're not making a French omelet here, so it doesn't have to be perfect. That's plenty good. Now, the other thing you're going to need is some cheese. And I typically use sharp cheddar. In this particular instance, I bought the cheapest sharp cheddar I could find at Walmart. Let me see where I'm supposed to tear this. Tear here. Yeah, okay. Now, I don't measure this recipe, but if you're a measurer, then I would say about 1/4 of a cup of cheese is probably what you want, and I'm just going to mix that in as well. This gives me both protein and fat, which is what I'm looking for. I am going to do just a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't always add the salt and pepper, but sometimes I do. And I have had some comments on some of my videos about, where's the salt? Well, I don't know. Okay, that's enough. Now, you're going to need a ramekin. And I typically use butter. I guess if I close that, it would look better on the video. And I'm just going to put, just a little bit of butter in the ramekin. And I am a finger person, so I just rub this around. Let me put this down here where you can kind of see what I'm doing. I just rub this around, and as an aside, I almost always get salted butter, even if a recipe calls for unsalted butter. And this is why I use my finger. I love butter. So, it is now buttered. And we're just going to pour this in. Now remember, this is the plain and simple recipe. Just something to get by quickly. Put this down here for just a minute. And it's going to go in the microwave for about 80 seconds, but I recommend that you do it in 30-second bursts. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks like in the microwave, but we won't go through the whole 80 seconds. So I'm going to start this at 30. It doesn't look like much right at the beginning, but you'll notice it starts to bubble up just a little bit. As it rises up, I want it to have time to fall back down. If it just keeps rising and rising and rising while it's really wet, it's just going to spill out over the sides, and we don't want that. So that was one. We're going to do another 30 seconds. And again, pardon me for being in the video here, but You're going to see it really start to rise up this time. I used to use 90 seconds, but it was a bit much. And so my last time through, I just used 20 seconds. And so I'm going to set the cook time to 20. And we will see it one last time here. And you'll notice when I put it in here, I put it in on a paper towel. It will still sometimes eke out, and we don't want that. So it's going to be very hot, so use something to pick it up and get it out of the microwave with. Clean this counter off just a little bit. And so you can see in just a little bit of time, I have a very nice egg. 90 seconds plus the time to stir it up. And I'm going to set this aside because it's really hot, but I will take at least one bite. A couple of eggs in the morning. It's wonderful. And I am going to eat this. Woo, that's hot. I'm going to eat this in a little bit. Now, if you want to add something to this, if you want to make it more, do not put 2 eggs in the ramekin. Use 2 ramekins and put 1 egg in each, which means you're going to divide the cheese in half as well. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm just going to use this new bowl here. 1 egg. A little bit of cheese. And you can also use ghee if that's your butter of choice. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. Whichever one you have on hand is fine. Again, it adds, let me put this down here again where you can kind of see what I'm doing. It adds a really nice buttery flavor to the eggs, and I try to cook my eggs in butter or bacon grease when I'm frying them. Now, you don't have to mix in the ingredients that you're going to add. So I'm going to add some sausage. I'm going to use this in the next one. I'm going to use this in the next one. And the secret ingredient of all breakfast eggs, jalapenos. So I buy pre-cooked sausage. And I rarely ever just pull it out and eat, unless I'm snacking on it. But I do use pre-cooked sausage for things like this so that I don't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Now I'm just going to put like half of a sausage patty in here. Typically I put the other half in the other bowl, but I think today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add just a few jalapenos. And you'll notice I'm not mixing that into the egg mixture. And the reason for that is as it cooks, the egg is going to lift it up on its own. So I'm just going to put the egg in here. Make sure that it's kind of all covered. Okay, that's one. You notice I had 2 eggs out, so I'm going to make another one. We'll mix this one up just a little bit. You can use bacon that you've cooked up and held over a little bit. This time I'm going to use mac and cheese. This is something I kind of bought on a whim. It's not as mac and cheesy as I'd hoped, but it's a little different than just plain cheddar. So put a little bit of that in there. And then we'll go back to just a little bit of butter. And if you don't like the feeling of butter on your hands, well, first of all, can you really call yourself a cook? But on the other hand, you can do this with a paper towel as well. But then you miss the most important part, which is cleaning your fingers off. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do a little different. I have some pepperoni slices. And I am going to cut these up. And no, I'm not going to get my cutting board out for this because I'm just really going to cut it into fourths. And we're going to put that in. And again, doesn't really matter. I think that's probably enough, so I don't need this little bit right here. And another good ingredient, red hot sauce. And again, I just make this stuff up. I don't plan this. If I don't have anything extra, then I just make the plain one. I try to always have a little bit of shredded cheese. You can shred your own if that's your thing. I try to keep all of my kitchen stuff as simple as possible. We're going to put both of these in at the same time, and just because you're cooking 2, you don't increase the cook time. It's still 80 seconds. We won't show them this time, but I'm going to do 30. And I'll be back in just a second. And there's the magic sound. So let's grab these and get them out on the platter here, or out on the countertop rather. Now trust me, I have tried to make these with 2 eggs in one and extra ingredients. It never ends well. Here are the 2 that we just came up with. And again, they're going to be really, really hot, but this is the one with the sausage. And it probably could have been in there another 10 seconds or so. I don't really care. The nice surprise kind of bite of that jalapeno is really, really good. Then I've got this one with the pepperoni. And again, the nice surprise of that little bit of hot sauce on the tail end of it. Very, very good. So this is, let me just throw this up here again. This is the way that I make a very quick breakfast when I'm trying to get out the door in a hurry. Let me know in the comments if you ever do anything like this. Remember, never put an egg in the microwave that you've not busted the yolk on. It will blow up on you. Been there, done that. Now you're like, okay, Tim, that's 4 eggs. You're going to eat all that? Oh yeah, I'm going to eat all of that. This is breakfast. Then I'm going to make another cup of coffee, and then I'm going to go to Panera for a little bit, and then we'll come back and edit this video, and we'll see you next time.